For minutes into near total silence, 3 out of 4 people in one study heard a sound with no outside source. A hiss, a tone, sometimes a knock. Now imagine staying here for 7 days. The room will not damage your ears, and it will not magically make you insane. But when the world stops feeding your brain sound, your brain does not simply switch off. Before we close the door, let's make the rules clear. You have light, food, water, a bed, a bathroom, and an emergency signal. But there is no phone, music, television, conversation, traffic, or humming air conditioner. The room is an anechoic chamber. Heavy walls block outside noise, while deep wedges absorb almost every reflection inside. You clap once. In a normal room, that sound bounces from wall to wall, and your brain uses those reflections to judge distance and space. Here, the clap becomes a tiny, dead click. No tail, no echo. It feels less like standing in a room and more like the room has disappeared around you. But this is not perfect silence. You are alive, so you are now the loudest machine in the chamber. Your breath brushes through your nose. Fabric scratches against your shoulder. You swallow. Your stomach moves. Even a quiet footstep feels strangely close because there's almost nothing outside your body to cover it. Your ears are still doing their job. Normally, sound waves vibrate the eardrum, move 3 tiny bones, stir fluid inside the cochlea, and become electrical signals for the brain. Take away the outside wave, and that pathway does not shut down. The auditory cortex remains active, watching and predicting like a security guard staring at an empty monitor. That brings us back to the 4-minute study. 77 normal hearing volunteers sat in a dark anechoic room. 57 reported at least one tinnitus-like sound. Most were soft, buzzing, whistling, ringing, tapping, or sizzling. The researchers were not proving that silence creates permanent tinnitus. They were showing how quickly a brain can notice or generate a signal when background sound vanishes. Suppose you hear a soft tone near your right ear. You turn, but there is nothing there, so you listen harder. Now the tone matters. Your shoulders tighten, your attention narrows, and every second becomes a test. Is it still there? Fear did not make people in that study more likely to hear a phantom sound, but greater threat was linked to finding it more unpleasant. After an hour, the main enemy is not physical injury. It is attention with nowhere else to go. You tap your fingers, hum, pace, and scrape a chair, not because your body needs noise to survive, but because self-made sound gives you control. When you tap, you know exactly what caused it. When a faint knock arrives by itself, certainty disappears. By evening, time begins to feel slippery. Nothing rings, arrives, speaks, or drives past to divide the day into pieces. 10 minutes can feel enormous. Then an hour disappears while your thoughts loop. Silence alone does not destroy your body clock, especially because the lights still follow day and night. But monotony can make your estimate of time unreliable. Night one is different for everyone. Some people sleep beautifully in quiet. Others become trapped between a pulse, a breath, and a tone they cannot ignore. Our character keeps checking the emergency light, rolls over, and finally creates a rhythm by tapping the mattress. The important point is variation. Quiet is calming for one brain and intensely demanding for another. During days 2 and 3, your brain may begin supplying more of what the room refuses to provide. Brief sensory deprivation experiments have produced buzzing, music, shapes, apparent movement, and falling sensations. But those studies often removed vision as well as sound. So a distant melody is possible here, not guaranteed, and it should not be confused with permanent psychosis. By day 4, routine becomes your anchor. Wake with the lights. Eat when the tray arrives. Exercise. Draw. Write down every sound you think you hear. These actions give attention a target and make time measurable again. You are not battling a poison. You're helping a prediction machine separate signals from guesses when the usual evidence is missing. What happens next is where honest science gets less dramatic and more interesting. Older week-long isolation experiments found attention, recent memory, dexterity, and perception changed in some participants. In one dark and quiet study, 11 of 16 reported hallucinations. Yet another week-long protocol found hallucinations were rare. Different rooms, different restrictions, different people, different results. So by days 5 and 6, we cannot honestly promise a breakdown. Our character might feel anxious, bored, unusually focused inward, or surprisingly calm. A tone may appear and fade. A shadow may seem to move before the eyes correct it. These experiences are real to the person having them, but they are not proof that the room is permanently damaging the brain. On day 7, the door opens. A shoe hits the hallway floor, and suddenly sound has depth again. Air moves. Voices overlap. Reflections tell you where walls and people are. The ordinary world may feel crowded for a moment, while the faint internal tone becomes easier to ignore beneath thousands of external signals. Total silence was never truly empty. It removed the competition and revealed something your brain normally hides. Perception is not a recording. It is a construction. Your ears deliver evidence. Your brain makes predictions, and most of the time they agree so well that you never notice the difference. In the quietest room, that difference may be the loudest thing you hear.